and this sort of concept that I have called smart pixels. And we'll just kind of get started. So I actually, if any of you all came to the workshops yesterday or Friday, that was in the building, the Creative Media Industries Institute, which is where I'm from. I'm actually coming more directly from do I need to talk in here? I'm coming more directly from the media and entertainment space, and then applying blockchain in those areas. But because way back in the day, I was a systems administrator during the .com boom, I'm applying all of that knowledge to, because I'm super excited about what's happening with blockchain right now. So I'm just going to start off with the art problem. But before I get into the art problem, I don't know if any of you all came to the art panel yesterday, because they touched on this tremendously. So like I said, I'm going to ask a lot of questions of all of us in general, because I feel that humans are really good at asking questions, and artificial intelligence is going to be good at giving us the answers. So we really need to get good at asking questions and staying in the question space as opposed to jumping to conclusions and answers. I think that's probably why we've had a lot of false starts in this whole blockchain space, which is fine because those are really experiments, but I think we need to see them as experiments and simulations more than answers. So anyway, if any of you all have played CryptoKitties before, then you will recognize what this is. This is a crypto collectible that was made in the CryptoKitty game world. Has anybody played CryptoKitties before here? Okay, so it's basically like baseball cards or something like that. You collect cards, except for you can put two cards together and make another one that's generated by an algorithm. But in the CryptoKitty space, I bought this CryptoKitty right here for 0.0028 Ether. But this CryptoKitty here, and this CryptoKitty is mine. So when I go to the CryptoKitties platform, I own this CryptoKitty. But this CryptoKitty was extremely expensive. Like, I don't know what 66 Ether was like a year ago. It was a lot of money. Now it's probably more like, what is it, about 300? What is it now? I don't know. Over thousands of dollars. So anyway, but I don't own this CryptoKitty, but I'm able to use it in this PowerPoint completely easily. So the thing is that I can use that CryptoKitty in something like this. I can use the PNG, but I don't own the code to the PNG. I just own, but I can use the screen grab. So the important thing to me here is that, so this begins to tease out the question about the virtual worlds and digital content and real world and real content, or what is real and how do we play in that space. So let's skip through this. Okay, so let's tease that out a little bit further, okay? So this is a scan of myself. Okay, it's gonna have to jump into, oh no. No internet, hold on. It was working just a second ago. Okay. So, just check this out for a second. Oh, there's no audio. Whoops. Doesn't really matter, okay? You get the point. Okay, is this real? So that was basically, I went and got my body scanned in the T-pose, like this. And then rigging, someone else's dancing moves was applied to me. So the question is, who owns the rigging, which is the movement, and who owns the scan of myself, and how can that be protected? Here's another more detailed volumetric capture. Whoops, go back. Let me play it. There we go. This is coming technology. This is volumetric capture. So this is me moving. This is full 3D volumetric capture. It's quite boring. I have on the same outfit because it was done on the exact same day. But as you can see, I'm not a performer. I'm not doing some sort of rap concert or something like that. But you can do a full volumetric capture of a performance that is fully rendered 3D, looks like it's completely realistically happening. So this is the kind of data that is going out onto the internet. Okay, so now that money is becoming a digital asset, we are starting to treat it like data. And so that's why we're able to do things like add computer programs to money, like smart contracts that have things like the derivatives and micropayments and all sorts of very interesting things. But now we are able to treat our data like money. And I think the previous talk was extremely important because we have all been, I think, data or privacy apathetic. And I think that data, so now I want to tease out what data is about us and our privacy and our identity and how we should protect it. But what I'm mostly talking about, just to go back, is that as we build virtual worlds that we will spend more time in, working, playing, and experiencing, how will we protect that data? And how should we build that? So this is just a kind of a funny sort of analogy. Think about our houses and our worlds and our bodies in the real world, and then start to think about data in that same manner. So every night we go home, we lock the door, and we put our body in a locked box of some sort. It's very important to us to not just lay out on the street, right? We are protected. We protect our bodies. So should we do the same with our data? If I do a scan of my avatar, a full scan of my avatar, I need to protect that data. Whoops. I want to go to, where is my snap? Oh, yeah, so I want to go back to just quickly show you this right here. This right here, snapshot. So I work here at Georgia State University, and what my students did as a experimental company was imagining. We created a blockchain where we put avatars on the blockchain, and you think, well, why even put it out there? But once it's out there, and if you want to engage in virtual worlds and virtual environments, you have to be able to put your avatar out there. But you also need to be able to lock it up. So we created a vault called Snapshot that would lock up your avatar when you weren't using it. What's really interesting right now, as we begin to scan famous people that are doing very interesting things, they now are figuring out ways to rent their avatar out for a period of time for a particular purpose. And we're going to look into how virtual worlds are made like that and break down all of the content that goes into building virtual worlds and what might need to happen specifically with that type of data. Identity. Here's just another example. I think most of you all know about this, but there's no audio. Excuse me? Plug it in up here? Oh, right here. Got it. It's not really that important, but there it is. I see it. I got it. I can do this.
Not in a public address, but
oh, wait, missed it.
Someone, at least not in a public address, but you see, I would never say these things. Trump is a total and complete dipshit. Now, you see, I would never say these things, at least not in a public address, but someone else would. Someone like Jordan Peele. This is a dangerous time. Moving forward, we need to be more vigilant with what we trust from the internet. That's a time when we need to rely on trusted news sources.
Okay, so most of our graduate students at undergraduate students at Georgia State can do that now. That technology. It's very easy. You can scan your face, you can scan someone's face, you can then track your mouth and say anything that you want. Maybe others aren't as good at voice simulation, but that even can be done with computers as well. So we are moving into a really dangerous territory, and I think that the previous speaker was extremely interesting. And so one of the things that I thought is interesting about the way we represent ourselves digitally is, and the way that people know us is, people know us, you can say what you want, but you know what happens? People go look online to find out if it's true. If you say, hey, I'm the director of blah, blah, blah at Georgia State University, you're gonna go and verify that online. And so right now, the things that we say, that we share, is one way that we are represented, but our behavior, and not all of this is completely public, but it's definitely public to certain companies. Everything you buy, everything you look up, everything you research, everything you spend, that defines who you are. And we need to become much more protective of this type of data as we move forward. So those are just cautions as I think about the way that we move forward into building virtual worlds. We are a more informed society now, and so as we build these virtual worlds, I'm looking at new ways to protect the data that we use to build the virtual world. And so now I'm going to talk about how virtual worlds are built. So virtual worlds are built with skinning, rigging, stitching, compositing, modeling, sculpting, scripting, coding. And I'm going to break those down a little bit. And all of this needs to be built, protected, paid for. And these are places where I think blockchain technology is going to be extremely interesting in the future. I'm not going to do that. Rigging. You saw rigging. Rigging is when they took somebody else's dance moves, and then, so the rigging is the movement. So is your motion yours? Is that data that defines you? Is that data that recognizes you? Is that data that needs to be protected? People make livings off of that. You know, so when you see a dinosaur in some animated movie, you know, somebody spent a lot of time practicing how a dinosaur would move, and that rigging was captured and then applied. So, but also your gait can be recognized by cameras, and then you can be identified by that. So rigging is important as we build these worlds and how we protect that. Skinning. Skinning is a $50 billion business right now. So this is a place to be, to get interested in, I think. Skins are anything that transform the look of something in a 3D world. It's not just clothing, it's clothing. It's like the exterior of, like, if you wanted a gun to have a floral pattern on it, that's skinning. Fortnite makes $2 million a day on their mobile app alone, just by selling skins that do not make you play the game any better at all, just make you look better playing it. But that's important because guess what? We all got up this morning and wanted to look good. We put on our special hat, our special shirt, our special dress, and that is important to us. These decisions are not just trivial. This is not just funny and silly. This is real. And as we spend more time in the virtual world, these assets of our avatars and virtual existence are really important. This is just a quick thing to show you. Oh, this does have a little audio. Did I lose the internet again? Let me just see real quick now. Come on. Whoops, sorry. Come back. This is really just a show.
Tell me more about this place. You spent nearly 90 years there.
What? No. No, not there. The forest is just the lobby. That's where the entrance is. I've been thinking, how do I remember all this? When did...
Okay, the reason why I'm showing you that is real-time rendered. So that is being rendered on the fly, worlds generated based on where you move, where you go. This is very intriguing, delightful environment that people will spend more and more time in. And so these worlds are real and exciting, and we'll spend more and more time as this terrible wearable becomes put on our face. We will begin to spend more time in here. And so these worlds and the algorithms that make up these worlds need to be carefully thought through. Who owns them, who engages in them, who gets paid for creating them, and so on. Okay, now I have to get back to presenting. How do I go to, hold on. Okay. Okay, so this is, so any of you all who, oh, it's that close? Oh my gosh. Wow, sorry, I can go on about this. So I'm just gonna skip. Amazon is making huge, so everything in this world will be recreated in that world. So mark my word, Amazon has a 3D virtual environment creation tool that they're using right now, where I think that they will end up selling a lot of the virtual assets that we use in our virtual environments. Let's see, oh yeah. Whoa, let's see what else I wanted to make sure I told you all. Yeah, so I am trying to figure out what I want to... So anyway, I think we should also think about our carbon, as we think about our carbon footprint, we need to think about our digital footprint. We need to think about the amount of data that we create. We need to think about the kinds of data that we create and put out there. As we take care of our households and our bodies, we too need to take care of our data households and our data bodies. Let's see, we also need to figure out be very careful about the biometric data that is collected about us, and continue. So my main thing about as we create virtual worlds, I also think that they're excellent spaces for doing simulations of how humans will convene together and act together. So as the previous presenter talked about tribes, I feel that right now we're in a place of experimentation and understanding human behavior and consensus and trust, and virtual worlds and virtual environments and virtual communities and games are excellent spaces for doing these simulations and these experiments. So instead of starting an ICO, I suggest that we start simulations. I think that places like Burning Man are excellent simulations for how humans are incentivized and behave. And I think this can also be used in games and game theory. And I think these are really more interesting than creating startups in certain situations. And I just think that there's a lot of questions that need to be asked right now, and so I say that we should ask ourselves questions as we move forward and use these simulations to try out how we behave. And yeah, any questions? Yes.
So this presentation really blows my mind because people here are Second Life.
Yes.
And I was in Second Life. I was in Second Life in 2007,
Yes.
and everything was going on in Second
Yes.
Life.
Yes.
I mean, my small company built a replica of the Vietnam veterans' wall
Wow.
inside Second Life.
Right.
I had avatars veterans visiting that wall and staying there for 2 days straight because they never had the courage or fortitude to go visit the real wall.
Right.
So
Wow.
Second Life there was meetings, IBM, Autodesk, Intel. I mean, there was meetings going on all the time as avatars.
Right.
We were spending Linden dollars. You would go into Sims, they were called, with all skins. I mean, I have pictures on my phone of me in a blue suit that I bought, eyes that I bought, hair that I bought. So this was all going on 12 years ago.
So totally to your point, one of the slides, and I haven't found it right now, is that one of I'm a part of the virtual reality and blockchain meetup here, but High Fidelity and Sansar are spinoffs from Second Life. They are huge leaders in this right now, especially High Fidelity, and they're creating the Virtual Reality Blockchain Association, and they saw the potential in Second Life, and and now they're seeing the potential just huge right now. So that is like totally on point.
I mean, the code was very clunky because
Yes.
whoever built it, I forget the guy's name, but he built it like in 3 weeks.
And that's why I was showing you how real it has become now,
Yeah.
and how amazing it has become now. Because yes, all of these, So, and it's not just like fantasy worlds, and I didn't get to show nearly the slides that I wanted to, but there's all sorts of training and new forms of empathy to kind of try out what it's like to be somebody else, or to experiment, to do dangerous things in a safe manner, like visit the Vietnam Wall because you were too scared to go to it in real life. So yeah, these are amazing.
I mean, we were doing real business. We got paid $40,000 to create the wall inside Second Life.
Wow.
Drew Carey
Wow.
sponsored that for us. So.
Wow.
And that was in 2007. So.
Yeah. Yes. Any more questions? Okay. Well, thank you all.